If you are not serious about quitting vaping/smoking, then this is not the video for you. Today, we will be discussing the hard truths, the processes required to attain a smoke-free life, and my own personal experiences and journey as a former smoker and vapor. Welcome to the Panda podcast, and today we will be discussing precisely that. Do you know what it's like to wake up in the morning and the very first thing you do is reach over, grab that vape, bring it over, hit it, and get that incredible dopamine release every single day, and you want to quit doing it? This is the video for you. That was my life for about 2.5 years. There was some cigarette smoking in there as well. It started off that way, and then it turned into vaping. I have an incredibly addictive personality, and quitting smoking for me was a very difficult journey, and the journey is still there. Once an addict, always an addict. And the point of this video today is to help you, regardless of how much of an addictive personality you have, that there is a way for you to quit smoking. But we have to talk about the hard facts involved. For me, whenever I had run out of using a vape, and I was really broke in New York City, for example, I would ask other people to hit their vapes. During the night, I would find my roommates' vapes and hit theirs throughout the night. I would sleep with my vape. I'd have it right next to my bed. It was on me 24/7. I even pulled these tricks at bodegas where I would buy the same flavored vape and go there regularly. And then whenever I was so broke, I would go back to the same bodega and tell them that I had bought this vape that I'd already used, and told them that I bought it the day before and it was DOA, like a lot of vapes are. You buy them and they don't work from the get-go. And then they would replace it with another vape and give it to me for free. So basically I got 2 vapes for the price of 1. I was that addicted to vaping. I must have spent $5,000-6,000 on vapes. I would go through a 3,500 puff vape in 4 days, every single time. It was on me 24/7. My throat was killing me. Looking in the mirror at the back of my throat and just seeing, the marks that it would make and the grogginess that I would feel every single day, not to mention the massive hit on the bank. It was a serious problem. I mean, just look at some of these videos of me in the past of me vaping.
It's like a code with them and their friends if they want the longest thing I've ever done in my life.
How many reds?
I feel like a fucking bot.
Now, I lived this life ritualistically for about 1 year and 9 months before I decided that I should probably stop doing this. So I tried a few different tactics, and whilst I had, the best intentions in mind, I didn't really follow through with them. I tried nicotine gum and I didn't like it, so I gave up on it. I even switched to smoking for a while to put myself out of situations where I could hit my vape wherever I want. Like you could hit your vape on a bloody train, you could hit it in school, hit it in a car, whatever. But when you're smoking, you kind of have to be in an outdoor environment in order to do that. And in some ways it made it worse. For some reason, like cigarettes, they just kind of like fill my lungs up with tar. Like it's just this horrible feeling. So I stopped doing that. I even did this thing on my phone for a while where I would set a timer and I would say like, okay, you can only hit your vape once every 5 minutes. And I would increase it every day, like 7 minutes, 9 minutes, 11 minutes. And it got to a point where I was focusing so much on the progress of looking at my phone and sticking to this hitting your vape one time every X amount of minutes, it became an extremely debilitating experience, so I just gave up. And really what it was just this enormous cycle of knowing that I should quit and wanting to quit without having an executing factor and taking real action on making that change happen. There was no defined moment in time where I had decided, all right, no more smoking. It was really a series of patterns where my subconscious had decided that I wanted to eradicate this behavior. And that really stuck with me, the behavior behind smoking. So what I decided was, okay, maybe I can find a way to easily break things down. So the primary factor here that's damaging me is the smoking and the vaping. You're inhaling something. It's damaging your throat and it's damaging your lungs. So what if I could push that to the side while retaining the nicotine, which is the thing that's actually addictive? And that's where I found the Zyn pouches in the United States. Essentially, they're like a little salt nicotine pouch with 3 milligrams or 6 milligrams, and you put them in the lip of your mouth, and it's essentially, removes that oral fixation, that desire you want for oral fixation as a smoker. And I didn't hit a vape or smoke a cigarette for about a month after I started doing that. And then when I came to Australia in November, we don't have Zyn pouches here. So I gave up and I started vaping again. And then eventually I decided, you know what? Let's try and find some other alternative. And I found this brand called Nicorette. I'm pretty sure Nicorette is all over the world, and there are various ways of replacing nicotine replacement therapy. And I decided to go with the mints, nicotine mints. And they've got different dosage amounts, and they basically do the same thing as Zyns, except it's a mint, and you have it in your mouth, and you can crush it, and you can knead it, whatever. Now, of course, nicotine is still bad for you. It can still cause oral cancer, having it in your mouth, etc. But the whole idea of it is that eventually you get rid of the behavior. Eventually, the nicotine gets replaced. And during this time while I was doing it, I just so happened to have been reading James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. I've spoken about it before. Now, James's breakdown of habits is, he explains it in terms of 4 laws, in terms of when you want to create a good habit or when you want to eradicate a bad habit. Now, when you're creating a good habit, the 4 laws are: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. On the inverse of those 4 laws, when you want to eradicate a behavior, this is what I was doing, and it helped me define it. First and foremost is make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it difficult, and make it unsatisfying. So anytime I walked past where I knew a vape store was going to be, in my mind, I just pretended like it was an empty store. I realized and noted all of the bad side effects of smoking and vaping: high risk of cancer, makes your throat sore all the time, very expensive for the bank, high risk of all sorts of other diseases, and the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. Make it difficult. I made it difficult by ensuring that I never had a vape on me, was never around anybody that smoked or had vapes. And if I ever wanted to go to a vape store, I would have to walk a really, really long distance and pay for it specifically in cash and cash only. So you're essentially increasing the number of steps it takes for you to do that bad habit. And make it unsatisfying. It's just, I already knew that it was not an enjoyable thing. And eventually, through the nicotine replacement therapy and understanding, the removal of a habit and eradicating it, it just happened. It just happened. But I made that decision that smoking needed to be eradicated, nicotine needed to be replaced with something else, and then the nicotine eventually slide off into nothingness to the point where I can exist now and not need to take nicotine whatsoever. And that was pretty much the journey behind it. Keep in mind, do not mistake this for it's just going to happen, because it's not. It starts with you, and it starts with you alone. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. If you do not want to change, you are not going to change. And the same goes for other people in your life, whether it be a friend, whether it be a parent or whatever. No matter how much information you give them, no matter how much you coach them, if they don't want to change, they're not going to change. So you have to realize that this is a decision that you must make on your own, and figure out a system that best suits you as a person to eradicate the behavior. There is no step-by-step process that I can give you because each person is different. The best sort of truth, at least from my truth that I can give to other people, is you have to figure out the best way to eradicate it that suits you as a person and the environment that you are in. You got to figure that out. And there is a way to figure that out for everybody, no matter where you are in the world. And And yeah, again, keep thinking of it as a behavior and attribute as many negative things to this behavior as you possibly can, to the point where you are repulsed by it. You are repulsed by your own behavior, to give you that extra kick in the butt that you need to make a change, because what you're doing is essentially disgusting. And that was definitely a factor for me. I know, as harsh as it is, you need to face harsh truths if you want to eradicate bad behaviors. And something that was attractive for me, learning to eradicate smoking, because it was something that was seriously addictive for me. If I was to have all of my buddies around me on this podcast talking about how much I used to smoke, they would be like, bro, you used to smoke more than everybody. I would smoke on freaking trains, on planes. I would ghost it so that it would all go in my lungs, and I'd hold it for about 5 seconds or so, 7 seconds, and then breathe out, and then there'd be no vapor, so I wouldn't get caught. I'd be at the cinemas, in the fucking car, like literally everywhere. I'd have it on me all the time. And what made it attractive, quitting smoking, was the fact that it's one of the most difficult behaviors a human can eradicate. And if I can eradicate that, then I can pretty much do anything. And that has given me so much confidence. It really freaking has. And I hope that it gives you that confidence as well, just knowing that, because it is a really, really cool thing. Alrighty, and that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Nate Panda, and this has been the Nate Panda Podcast. I'm very active over on my Instagram at NathanPandaOfficial, so definitely drop me a follow over there. I am ditching the country on the 5th of June for God knows how long. I am very nervous about this trip, but also very, very excited to take you all on that journey with me. We're going to be doing a bunch of things that typical Western tourists do not do, which I'm super excited about it. So if you want to come on that journey, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.